911. What's your emergency? This is 911 emergency. What are you reporting
Hey everybody, welcome back to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch. Dispatch. And we've got some people here. We got our usual suspect. We got John up there. We got Joe down there. And we got our special guest, Michelle's back with another little time for us today. She's got a good couple of questions we're going to throw at her. And I will tell you what's really fun is the questions that I have, nobody knows what they are. So you're all going to get them right off the fresh handwritten notes right here. So you'll see those right there. So you guys ready for these?
Maybe.
Real easy.
Yeah, we'll see.
So do you think there's a misconception of the public of what 911 actually does? Do you think there is?
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions that the public has?
We know where you are.
Wait a minute. Let's phrase it this way.
Oh.
If you could host a PSA, a public service announcement on TV, what would you say on your public service announcement to the public about 911? Who wants to jump on that one?
You know, I would start by educating them that it's for life and death emergencies. I know that sounds cliche, but obviously it's not being communicated well enough because people call us for what's the non-emergency number and a whole bunch of other non-emergencies, loud music with no life threat whatsoever. But I would also advertise with, a box of what not to call 911 for. And those two I just mentioned, but the other one, just going through a storm, is we're not the power company. So power goes off, we're not the call to make unless you have other issues such as maybe oxygen needed for a medical condition or some other reasons. But if you're calling solely about the power with no other reason, we're not the power company.
Okay, look, I have to confess something though, because I lived in an area before I moved to Tennessee here that our power went out one time and it was like the whole street was black. And I looked outside, I'm like, oh my God. And I, for a second, thought I should call the police and see what the hell's going on. But I didn't. But I'm telling you, I guarantee the public thinks that same exact thing.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to know. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is there a
And you're one of us.
I know.
You know better.
Well, he was. It's because he was.
Oh my God! Because I retired, I'm not. But but all right. So who else? So John, what do you got on your PSA? What would you tell them?
I would say to piggybacking off of Joe, not just as for emergencies, but really emphasizing the non-emergency number, whether it be 311 in your locality or whatever 10 digits that you answer. So even though we're saying it's for life and death, it's okay. This is the number.
What is the 311 in your part of town? What does 311 get you?
311 in certain localities is essentially equivalent to 911, but it's non-emergency.
So who's answering those calls? You guys?
It could be. It depends how the agency is set up. It could be the same folks that accept 911 calls, or it could be people sitting across the room who only answer those types of calls. Wow. It's just how the agencies are set up. Yeah. But essentially, it's just a non-emergency number.
Right.
The second thing my PSA would be, as cliche as Joe said, it's we don't know where you are, so give your location.
Because they get the misconception watching TV.
Sure.
That we can find you no matter what, and our satellites are linking up, and all this stuff is happening, and it's really not true. But a lot of people believe that. I mean, I know I asked one time, I went to the mall, and they were selling phones, some idiot selling phones over there. And I asked the guy, hey, on these cell phones, can you tell me where you're at? And he said, absolutely. The police can pinpoint your location. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Really? It's like, I mean, so nobody is getting the right information. So, I mean, sometimes I ask, what are we going to put out there? So those are good ones. Michelle, what do you?
He'll be our next week's guest.
Oh, God. I'm glad he's out of business, but he was selling Nokia phones. But anyway, so that's how long ago it was. All right, Michelle, what's your PSA going to be?
Yeah, I'm going to jump in with the other two that you have to tell us where you're at. You have to talk to us. And as a secondary answering point, you got to tell us again, we're not the same person. You've been transferred from another agency. And a lot of people don't understand that. You're talking to someone new now. And now we're going to ask you some questions. And then we can't teleport the resources that They have to drive there. So in the 15 seconds it takes for us to, 15, 30 seconds for us to take to get your address, they're not just going to show up at your doorstep.
So when somebody's screaming, "Where the hell are you? I called a couple minutes ago."
Yeah.
It's because it takes a little bit of time to start and drive over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing, Doug, is just emphasizing what those two said, is in knowing where you're at as a caller. When you call 911, it's the single most important question you can tell the 911 dispatcher. So if your battery's going dead or whatever, and you can get just one thing out, get where you're at, and if you have enough time, why kind of you're calling.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me ask you this, because I've had this experience, and I'm gonna see if any of you have had this. Have you ever been somewhere, because a lot of us travel, a lot of us have traveled around the country and all over the place.
Or used to.
Well, yeah, before COVID. We will again, don't worry, we will
We
again.
will.
But have you ever been someplace and really like don't know where the hell you are? I mean,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Me and another instructor that I was working with, we're in Florida, and we were driving out to NASA. You know, NASA's a very long drive out in the middle of the swamps out there. And the road out there does not have a whole lot of signs that say where you are. And I remember asking her, "Hey, do you see any signs that say like milepost markers or billboards?" There's nothing out there. And so when I got to the area, I asked the dispatchers there, "How do you guys find people?" And they said, "Oh, it's really easy. We ask them, what time did you leave the city? And then we calculate you were doing like 55 miles an hour, and we can add those things together." And I'm like, "Oh my God, it requires math. I'm out." So I'm done with it. So do you ever wonder when you're out driving around, do you ever think to yourself, like, if something happened to me, would I know where I'm at?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
all of us
all
have
the
preached
time.
this thing. We've all preached, you got to know where you are. But do we? I mean, has anybody ever had that experience where you're driving someplace, you don't know where the hell you are?
Yeah,
Oh,
you lose track.
Yeah, I mean, you lose track. I mean, I'll tell you what, we live here now in Middle Tennessee, and I will tell you that I've been here a number of times teaching classes and doing things. There are times I'm driving around going, wasn't I here before? Sometimes like, it's just these things where you get kind of lost out there. So in accordance with this, what is a technology that if you could have the ear of, I can't remember the guy that runs Apple, but whoever runs that company and Microsoft, and you could tell them, look, could you really improve this technology for us as dispatchers? What would that technology improvement be? What would it be?
And there's a product out there, Doug. It's starting to make waves in the United States. And it's called, I'm going to get it wrong. It's something 3 words. What 3 words? My 3 words.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big
3 words.
overseas.
I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Wow.
And what happens is they call 911 and they have no idea where they're at. So I like to envision it. I like to go up and walk through trails and in the mountains, because in Iowa there just isn't a ton of mountains here. So when I go travel, if there's a mountain nearby, I like to walk, and I have no idea where I'm at in that mountain. I'm going to be the worst 911 caller there is. But there's this product out there now and agencies can get access to it. And I forget the exact name of it. There's a few other ones as well that are doing better at helping pinpoint callers. But we're saying that you have no idea where you're at. And I believe it works this way, where you text their phone and then they get 3 words and then they text you back the 3 words or something along those lines. And you go to the website and type in the 3 words and it gives you a pinpoint location within 10
Wow,
seconds
really?
Yeah.
where they're at. And it's
Does
really
anybody know what it's called? What's it called?
What 3 words? He's
What
right.
3
What
words?
3
Yeah.
words?
The
Number
word
3.
combinations are pretty funny too. Completely random 3
Yeah.
words. Very unique. Mhm.
And so like your house in Tennessee, Doug, would have a whole bunch of them, and you're starting to see houses even put their 3 words up on their house. And
Really?
Oh,
I
really?
didn't know that.
really interesting thing. And it's a neat technology. So I would say enhance all these other products and work with the technology companies that are driving more information to the 911 callers. But that's the one I thought of when you asked that question.
That's a great technology, and I'm really going to do some research on it. And if anybody out there listening has some information on it, please link it to our Facebook page or email us the information. I would love to see more information about it and see if anybody's using it. And what have you done with it? Have you used it before? What's happened with it? That's a great thing. So what are the other 2? What technology should be improved in your communication centers? What do you think?
I think it'd be nice to have one standardized program that we could all use. I know that there's a couple different ones, and if we had, like across the nation, one standardized system, the 911 callers would be able to be familiar with that too, and maybe they'd be more prepared to provide us with the information.
Are you saying like a CAD system that'd be across the United States, or like?
No, like a tracking system, like if the nation adopted the My 3 Words. That's something that we can provide public education on across the nation. And then no matter where you're at, you would know how to use it, know that's what they need when you call for help. And that would really help all of us in all centers everywhere.
That would be great. Wow, I really got to look into this. That sounds such like a good technology that I don't know why we're waiting till now to get it. Why we haven't had it a long time ago. That's crazy. What about you, John? What do you got?
Well, I was thinking, what 3 words, until Joe mentioned it, I was like, gosh, I think I have that on my phone. But I hear that more overseas, but I'll be interesting to see the comments below for those in the States. Joe, do you use it?
Not yet. I have spoken with the company and everything else, and we also implemented the other one that's big in the United States is the Rapid SOS.
Yes, I was going to say that.
More pinpoint location, and that's phenomenal. And they're partnering with all sorts of other people as well. But a blending of those where if Rapid SOS doesn't give us a location, where we could get that from the 3 words, and working together and improving technology that way. So we don't use it yet, John, but I know some agencies that have implemented it, I think in North Carolina, but it is more popular right now, like you said, John, overseas.
Overseas? Yeah. How are they more technology advanced than us? That's crazy.
Well, a lot of the apps we use are developed overseas.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's I'm glad that they're getting something like that, because having worked in a rural kind of area, and I've had people that are out hiking and they have no idea where they are, and it takes an hour or two to figure them out. Even when we're having the helicopter search for them, they was just, how did you get there? Well, I parked, I think, over here, and we walked probably another 6 hours. It's like.
But the thing now that we can do, so to answer the question, I would say Rapid SOS. That is really what we have found in my area, 99% accurate. That probably 1% is because it doesn't have the Z access, meaning the floor, the room, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when it's 99% accurate for a physical location. And then I forgot what I was going to say, but it was important.
That way it was. Well, if you think about it, you can always, call it into us later or something, or, stop by, tell us what's going on. All right. So, I love the fact that we got all this technology booming out there. And I'm so glad that the 911 industry is going to have these great technologies at their fingertips. I'm just more concerned about the fact that a lot of agencies just don't have the resources to get that stuff. They're kind of like, it costs money and we can't do these things. And having worked for a state agency, I'm telling you right now, we were the last ones to get anything. Because it's a budget situation, and the budget is always a problem, and we never get the stuff right away. It's usually somebody else gets it, then we see it going, does it work? Can we get it? Okay, we'll get it. So that drives me crazy, and I wish that we had technology just given to us, like, here, try this and just use it and see how you can save people's lives. That'd be
Rapid SOS, John or Doug, doesn't cost the agency anything.
Wow, that's great. I mean, and like I said, I retired in December, and we were just talking about Rapid SOS possibly coming online with us, but there was some questions about it. So who knows if they've even got it or not now. So I hope.
And it's integrated with our phone system, so it's great. The thing I thought of is when you were talking, Doug, about finding people and get the helicopters out. One thing we can remind ourselves under the headset is, hey, if you're on a smartphone or you have apps on your phone, do you have a GPS app? Tell me what the coordinates read.
Yeah.
And then I could plug it in either on my cell phone if I don't have internet access at work, or if I do in the computer, and it'll pinpoint me almost to the degree of what 3 words.
That's the only time I use it. That instant I was talking about, the person was so hysterical because it was getting dark and it was getting cold. And the person was just uncooperative when you were telling them, on your phone, you can do this and you can give us a location. And they were just very uncooperative and just screaming, like, get somebody here. Well, that doesn't work like that. So
where's here?
Yeah. Where's here? So
it's a good point. A good thing for us to remember we can do is we can walk them through trying to find their location. It's still, it drives me crazy when I hear, can you find a piece of mail who gets mail? Who has mail? Just laying around their house, you know? Yeah.
Well, my email address is
Yeah.
Michelle at.
Yeah. So we're asking those questions, making sure we're asking them to use the technology that we have.
I was just looking around going, I don't think I have any mail at all. So it's like,
It's not a thing anymore.
I'm like, wow. All right. Well, that's another great episode. I love these technology episodes because I want the people that are listening to this and viewing this to put down their comments saying, here's a technology I wish we would have better at, or here's a technology we have and it's freaking awesome. That what 3 words? That sounds great. I mean, I wish everybody had that. Is it what 3 words?
Yeah. Something 3 words. I got to do more. It's been a few weeks since I talked to the lady, and I apologize. I don't know. I think it's what 3 words, but I could be wrong on the first.
Well,
you know what would be cool? You know what would be cool is if people post their 3 words of their dispatch agency.
Oh yeah, whatever they. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
That's a good one.
So in the comments, put down the 3 words of your agency, not your home, of your agency, and then we could all see exactly where folks are.
I love that. That's a great idea.
I like it.
All right, everybody. So that's your task. When you watch this or listen to this on any of the million podcasts that we have, and Joe's going to tell you about those in a second, make sure you comment and give us these things that we're asking about. I think that's a great way to kind of communicate with everybody. So, Joe, before we wrap this thing up tight like a drum, give us all the podcasts that they can hear this on.
Oh, I love doing that. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, and Overcast.
Good God Almighty! Plus, we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We're all over the place. So if you don't listen to this channel, you're not listening to anything. So make sure that you listen to what we do out there because we're doing it for you. We're talking dispatch just to you. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. John, Joe, and Michelle, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
911, what's your emergency? This is the police department. How can I help you? You find out or medical? 911 emergency, what are you reporting? 911 emergency, what are you reporting? 911 emergency, what are you reporting?
I